Hi. It's nice to see me smiling as I look at myself in the camera because yesterday I wasn't smiling. I have days when I'm not supposed to tell you this stuff. I'm supposed to present this image of I'm always on top of this, and when I post good things online and then people have nice responses, it's just all supposed to be all wonderful and good and you go girl and stuff like that. And what a what a what a lie that is. I'm not supposed to show you the times when I cry inconsolably because I'm not supposed to show I'm weakness. Or was a commercial many years ago? What was it for? Must have been for some deodorant. Never let them see you sweat. I'm not supposed to let you see me sweat. You're supposed to see that I'm always upbeat, optimistic. I'm tackling this thing fine and dandy, and that's not even close to the case. It was really hard to come home from vacation. I'm taping this several days after we came home from a wonderful vacation with Julie's family in Iowa. And it was so good. It was almost too good because I didn't want to leave there. So there's a period of adjustment, and I've had some times of crying. There's an awful lot of loneliness involved in my life these days because retiring from my work and everything associated with publicly being a person with gender dysphoria, now transitioning. I thought I changed my life a lot when I left my hometown to go to seminary to become a minister. That was like changing my socks compared to this. So yesterday I was crying so hard, I was feeling so terrible, and I made this short video where basically I said, here's the best advice I can give to anybody ever. Don't allow yourself to be born with anything that is going to make your life really difficult at any given time in your life. I mean, that makes sense, right? Who would want to be born with anything that hard? But it doesn't make sense because we can't control how we're born, just like I couldn't control the factors that led me to this point in my life. So there. But I'm feeling better today, and I thought it's something. I thought of two things. One thing made me think the second thing. I was thinking that it's been 2 years. That seems crazy, but it's been 2 years since in 2013 when I started telling people what was going on with me. But there's one person in particular, one person whom I told around this time ago, 2 years ago, who I felt so bad I had never told throughout my life. I could have told for almost 40 years at that point. And I could have trusted him. He's the most trustworthy person I've ever known. But I just couldn't do it. So finally, 2 years ago, I sat with my best friend since I was 17 years old, Tim Todd. And it took me probably 15 or 20 minutes of crying, saying, Tim, once I tell you this, it's going to change everything about our relationship. I'm glad to tell you I was wrong. Our relationship is exactly the wonderful relationship today that it's been for the last 41 years. But at the time I didn't know that. At the time I didn't know how he was going to react. I hadn't hardly told anybody at that point. So I laid it all out there, and for the next, hour and a half, I told him all my story, and he didn't say anything. He watched me intently. He listened carefully. There was no judgment on his face. There was concern. There was that face that I know so well. Usually it's laughing back at me or saying something to make me laugh, but now it was so filled with concern. Concern he and I have shared with each other in many cases because we shared everything, but now I was finally sharing this thing I should have shared so long ago. And he proved true to who he's always been, but he didn't say anything. He didn't ask a single question. He would later. At the time he said, I kind of surprised him. If you could imagine that, huh? After all these things, Tim, now I'm surprising you. But when we got all done and we moved from that spot out into the family room and relaxed a little bit, he told me something he had heard a pastor use once in a sermon. And it's perfect right now. Because, go back to yesterday when I was feeling so lousy, so much of the reason I have days when I feel terrible is because I don't feel I have worth anymore. I feel like I've been discarded. I feel like I'm ruined as a human being. I feel like I've hurt so many people that I hurt for it. I feel like people hate me and so forth. And it hurts me so deeply, and I cry for every reason under the sun. And yesterday I was just plain inconsolable. And today I remembered the really good lesson that Tim gave me. And for that, you wouldn't mind having that $20 bill, right? I deliberately grabbed a 20 from my wallet and not just a 1 because a 1 might not get your attention. But even today, a $20 bill, we'd all take a $20 bill. I can go out to pretty halfway decent dinner with that $20 bill. That $20 bill has value because it's a $20 bill, right? This one's in pretty good shape. People used to think I had a lot of value because I was in pretty good shape. I had my act together. This is going to sound like real ego-filled, but I had my act together as much as anybody had their act together. That was my life as I was falling apart inside. When it got to be on the outside, was I still the same person? Did I still have the same value that I had before? What do you think of that $20 bill now? Does it have the same value I had before? Doesn't look as good. It's a lot smaller. It's all crumpled. Would you still like the $20 bill? Could it still do for you what it did before? The lesson that Tim gave to me, I've reflected on many times. Thank you, Tim. I have the same value as I ever had. Every human being has value because we're all human beings. As Christian, we know we have value because we're children of the Heavenly Father. We're ones for whom Christ died. But even if you're not a Christian, I don't care if you had any religion at all. Every human has value because we're humans, period. And it doesn't matter whether we're the best of the best. We look good, we act fine, we do our jobs, we earn our keep, so forth. Or if we are injured terribly, if we have become deformed from some injury or illness, if we can't be the person that you always knew before. Inside, we still have the same value. And we just want to be recognized as having the same value. I just want to be recognized as being the exact same person you always knew before, if you knew me before. I want to tell you something. There's nothing about me that's any different on the inside. On the outside, I understand. But on the inside, whether it's my values or my bad sense of humor, whatever it was about me that you knew before, it's exactly who I am. If I had valued you before, I have value to you now, the exact same value. And I want to be in your lives. I hope you want to be in mine. I hope you remember it doesn't matter what happens in life to crumple us inside. We're still the same. Remember that for their sake. And then hopefully when it's you who are the one in the tough spot, then they will remember you still have value too.